Why are investors fearful of stocks now? It's because we have a lot of wild news coming out and some unexpected news. Fitch, a credit rating agency, one of the three major ones, just downgraded United States credit from AAA to AA plus. Now, they don't think that's going to affect the United States that much because we're still going to be the reserve currency because we are the cleanest shirt in the laundry. Germany is in a recession. England has about twice the inflation that we do. China isn't doing very well. So we're the cleanest shirt in the laundry, but that's not much consolation. A funny thing about this is this will make the United States dollar weaker. And right now, when the United States dollar weakens, stocks go up because foreigners are able to buy our products at a cheaper price. The second major thing is that the news is totally wild and unprecedented. Trump just received his third criminal indictment. He now has 78 charges against him with a total of hundreds of years of prison time. One candidate has said that Trump is running basically to keep out of prison. And it's an ironic thing that Trump is claiming that these charges are being brought against him now to interfere with his election. So it's a topsy-turvy world we live in right now. The third major news item on the horizon is the student loans are going to have to start being repaid in October. There's 1.5 trillion of student loans, 39 billion of which have been forgiven by Biden, and let's hope the courts allow that. He previously allowed more to be forgiven, but the court didn't think it was passable because he needed Congress to approve it, which Congress would not do. There's 28 million student loan borrowers. So in October, they're going to have to start making payments on their loans of perhaps hundreds of dollars in some cases. And finally, climate change is starting to hit our pocketbooks. 2023 is going to go down as the hottest record worldwide on record. The price of fuel has gone up partly because of the high temperatures has interfered with the refinery production of fuels needed. So I have solar panels on my house. I have like 16 panels. I think I'm going to get another 10 panels. They save me so much money. I wish the whole roof was covered with solar panels, particularly in Arizona. It preserves the roof, and the shade that it throws is almost as significant as the energy it produces. So I planned to re-roof the house. You have to do that every 10 to 15 years in Arizona. And after I do that, try to add another 10 solar panels if the city will allow me. The second effect climate change has on our pocketbooks is it increases the prices of food because there's droughts in many portions of the world. And then in other portions of the world, there's too much rain. And why is this? As the temperatures heat up, the air can hold more water. So then when a cold front moves through, it has massive amounts of water and you get floods of rain. So it's either feast or famine, as they say. And then geopolitical things are affecting the prices of our food. The war in Ukraine has reduced Ukraine's production by 40%. Ukraine is a major supplier of grains. But this will be lowered, the effect will be lowered somewhat by Russia, who has planted more wheat, and so they're making up for some of the decrease from Ukraine. The big event easily will be Apple and Amazon reporting earnings on Thursday, August 3rd. I expect Amazon to do okay. They're affected mainly by all the costs they have in transporting goods and so forth. And the price of oil going up into the $80 per barrel is not helping. And they make a lot of their money on AWS, Amazon Web Services. So I think they'll do okay, but I don't think the market is expecting that much from Amazon anyway. As long as they do okay, they will probably go up somewhat. But the big news will be Apple. Apple is hanging around $200. It's a $3 trillion company. It moves the stock market. What it does on earnings will determine the course of the stock market and will affect it for months, I believe. That and the rate of inflation, of course. But Apple, I think, will report good earnings. And I'm looking for clues to how Apple's earnings are going to come out. And I got some good news with technology companies that are reporting earnings. Arista Networks, whose symbol is ANET, A-N-E-T, they are a cloud networking solutions system, a platform for artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence needs quicker platforms to do their cloud networking. And so Arista is benefiting from that strongly. And they beat both on revenue and earnings. So that's one positive clue that we have. AMD just recently beat on both earnings and on revenue. And this is very important because they are second only to NVIDIA in artificial intelligence. And I think them beating on earnings and revenue will also help NVIDIA stock, which probably will move in sympathy upwards. I noticed that AMD went up about 5% to $120. Arista Networks, it went up to $185. So it went up like 30 points. So these two strong clues are making me invest in the Qs, the QQQ, and the triple QQQ, which is a triple leverage on the 100 largest companies on the NASDAQ. So I plan to see this through and hoping Thursday is going to be a positive day because of Apple and Amazon, but mainly because of Apple, which has influenced me to go on the QQQ and the triple QQQ, which is a very bullish but risky fund. I think the market is rotating somewhat away from technology, at least in the short term, but it probably will continue to some extent. And we get sort of mixed earnings from some companies like Uber. Uber, it's probably affected by the oil price going into the 80s, at least somewhat. But they beat on both earnings and revenue. But the price came down like 3% because they're worried about the future growth. And it was sort of a similar situation with Starbucks, whose symbol is SBUX. They had less sales, less revenue, but they had higher profit because they charged more for each cup of coffee. Now, they had less sales, even though their sales increased 40% in the same stores in China. So it's kind of a yes but no thing. They're doing better, but basically the stock market is worried about their future growth prospects. And I think I'm playing the rotation to some extent as I put considerable money into Berkshire Hathaway. I buy the B-class shares, it's BRKB, and I see that sort of as a conservative version of the S&P 500. He invests a lot in railroads, in banks, in insurance companies. He owns separate businesses like See's Candy and Dairy Queen. And he's always done a good job. And it seems like a safe bet in uncertain times. And I think the market's rotating into the S&P 500. Actually, the SPY, once things settle down, I think the SPY is probably a good buy in like October. And I think the market rotation, I expect the market to go down somewhat towards October. But if the market holds up, I think I start investing in the SPY and in the general market. I do it through Berkshire Hathaway because I see it as similar to the S&P 500, only being somewhat more conservative and thus safer. In any case, Trueflation.com, which uses many more sources of data and is much more current, indicates that the true rate of inflation is now 2.23%. Wow. That isn't far from the 2% goal. And I guess it's mainly because rents have actually started to come down somewhat, and medical expenses have started to come down somewhat, and they're major contributors to the inflation rate. Brazil has had an interest rate of 13.75% since September of 2022. Okay. They're going to be the first to cut interest rates now. It's anticipating that they're going to cut interest rates by 0.25%. So they'll only be paying an interest rate of 13.5%. Oh my God. Talk about, they out-Volckered Paul Volcker, which is impressive. Please give this video a like if I help clarify your thinking on the stock market at all. Hopefully we're through the tough times. I don't think we're through the volatility though. We've got too much going on. Things have got to settle down. I'm hoping that they're going to settle down by sometime in September and October. That's usually when the stock market likes to go down, and then we have a holiday rush and things return to semi-normal. Thanks for listening and watching. That's the way I roll. Thank you.